Ilhan Omar, A Journey of Defiance, Destiny and Democracy. History doesn't always whisper. Sometimes it walks into Congress wearing a hijab, carrying a refugee story, and rewriting what representation looks like in America. Ilhan Omar isn't just a lawmaker. She's a symbol of survival, a voice of communities once unheard now sitting at the decision-making table. From the streets of Mogadishu to the chamber of the United States House of Representatives, her life reads like a political epic shaped by war, migration, activism, and unshakable belief. Roots in resilience. Born on October 4, 1982, in Somalia, Ilhan Abdullahi Omar was the youngest of 7 children. Her early childhood was marked by loss. Her mother died when she was young, and by the steady influence of her father and grandfather, who instilled in her the importance of education, civic duty, and faith. When civil war tore Somalia apart, her family fled. At just 8 years old, she found herself in a refugee camp in Kenya. Life there was uncertain, but hope was not abandoned. In 1995, her family was granted asylum in the United States. They first arrived in Arlington, Virginia, then settled in Minneapolis, a city that would eventually become both her home and her political base. At 17, she became a U.S. citizen, a milestone that would later take on historic meaning. Education and the spark of leadership. Omar graduated from Thomas Edison High School and went on to earn a bachelor's degree in political science and international studies from North Dakota State University in 2011. Her political fire wasn't born in headlines, it was forged in community rooms and city meetings. She worked as a community educator, a policy aide, a grassroots organizer. She learned the mechanics of government from the ground up, advocating for immigrant families, working-class residents, and underrepresented communities. Breaking barriers in Minnesota. In 2016, Omar ran for the Minnesota House of Representatives, and won. Her victory made history. First Somali American legislator in the United States. First Muslim woman elected to Minnesota's legislature. At the state level, she championed criminal justice reform, education equity, environmental protections, economic fairness. Her voice was bold, her style was direct, her presence was undeniable. Congress and the national stage. In 2018, she ran for Minnesota's 5th congressional district after Keith Ellison vacated the seat. She won decisively and was sworn into Congress in January 2019. With that oath, history shifted again. She became one of the first 2 Muslim women ever elected to Congress. The first African refugee elected to Congress. The first woman of color to represent Minnesota. She quickly became associated with the Squad, alongside Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley. Together, they pushed progressive policy into mainstream debate. Policy and principles. Ilhan Omar's legislative priorities center on structural change, economic justice, raising the federal minimum wage, canceling student debt, expanding affordable housing, healthcare, support for Medicare for all, lower prescription drug costs, immigration reform, humane asylum policies, pathways to citizenship, climate action, support for bold environmental reforms, advocacy for frontline communities affected by climate change, foreign policy, critical of prolonged military interventions, vocal about human rights issues globally. Her positions have sparked both passionate support and fierce criticism, particularly during public disputes with political opponents, including former President Donald Trump. Controversy and conviction. Omar's outspoken stance on U.S. foreign policy and Middle East affairs has drawn bipartisan criticism at times. Yet, despite controversy, she has remained politically resilient, winning re-election multiple times in her district. For supporters, she represents courage. For critics, she represents confrontation. For American politics, she represents change. Personal life. Omar is a mother of 3 children. Her daughter, Isra Hersey, is a nationally recognized climate activist and youth organizer. She married political consultant Tim Minette in 2020. Legacy in motion. Ilhan Omar's story is still unfolding. She stands at the intersection of immigration, faith, gender, and race in American public life, challenging long-held assumptions about who belongs in power. From refugee camp to congressional chamber. From silence to spotlight. From survival to shaping national debate. Her biography isn't just about political milestones, it's about representation rewritten in real time.